Welcome to Say There's Ability, a podcast to educate and inform you about disability employment issues. My name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back for another episode of Save as Ability. It's David D'Arcangelo, and we've got a guest today, a great guest. But before we get to Beth, we want to welcome you back. And if you can help us continue to grow by liking, subscribing, sharing, commenting, all of that really does help us keep great content flowing for you. And again, we got a great guest here. It's Beth Butler-Fidel. Beth, welcome in.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Well, it's great to have you today. And Beth runs Disability in North Carolina chapter. So today we're going to talk a little bit about you, Beth, and how you came to that position and your station in life, but then also really talk about self-employment for people with disabilities and the nature of disability-owned business enterprises and what you see in your world. So welcome in, Beth. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you, David. So, yes, I am, I grew up in South Florida. I am a person with a disability. Let me just right out of the gate share that with you. I'm legally blind.
Thanks for identifying that.
Yeah, I'm legally blind and have been since birth. So at age 3, I was diagnosed with underdeveloped optic nerves in both my eyes. So this has been a personal journey for me for a long time. Came into the executive director role after about 20 plus years on the corporate side of this conversation with disability and inclusion, working. I'm also an attorney, so I worked in the EO and affirmative action compliance areas for financial services companies, and then for a big box retailer here, headquartered here in North Carolina, and then stepped into this executive director role in 2017. And get to kind of blend all of my loves at one time. And it's been a lot of fun.
Well, that's great. And thanks for identifying. And so I guess we're brothers and sisters in arms here, both being legally blind. So I value that. And being an attorney, being legally blind, that's very impressive.
Well, yeah, that was a long conversation with the guy upstairs. I'm just going to tell you, when I accepted,
Yeah, I can
I
imagine.
applied to one law school. And when I got accepted, I looked up and was like, really? Are we going to do this? And he quickly said, no, I'm going to do this. You're going to be my vessel. So
you're along for the ride. I agree, Beth. I'm with you. And we're here in Easter week for any of our viewers or listeners. So we want to wish everybody a wonderful Easter. So, all right, Beth, let's talk a little bit more now, particularly about self-employment for people with disabilities and disability-owned business enterprises and what you're doing down there in North Carolina as disability and affiliates in your area.
Yeah, thanks. Well, so, I believe in the power of entrepreneurship, right? I think that we talk a lot about opportunities for employment of people with disabilities, but boy, we know statistically there's a huge number of individuals, and I think individuals with disabilities are twice as likely to own their own business. So entrepreneurship is kind of birthed, quite frankly, out of that innovative spirit that I think so many of us with disabilities carry, because we've had to. Right? You've had to adapt to the environment that you find yourself in. And so that is just kind of a natural feeder, I think, for creativity and problem solving solutions. And it just kind of carries over into that area of entrepreneurship. So we're really excited here in North Carolina as executive director.
Beth, I agree.
Yeah.
100%, by the way, with what you said. That reinforces pretty much, I think we were on 120 episodes or whatever. That reinforces probably 60 of our episodes is what we quote the same thing. So thank you for saying that. It really does validate, the landscape out there for people with disabilities. So I'm sorry to interrupt you. Let's go tell us what's going on in North Carolina with DOBEs down there.
Yeah. So, one of the things that I have really tried to do in my role as executive director of the affiliate here is to invite, right, our small businesses, our DOBEs, to the table. And we've always had a seat at the table. I've got, I think, 14 board members now. And of those, 4 I believe, are DOBEs. And two of them actually serve on our executive board. So I've got my vice chair is a certified disability-owned business. Brian Wright is our treasurer. He too is a DOBE. So and Blake Tinsley is our vice chair. So I do believe in the vision and honestly the contribution that entrepreneurs play in our communities. And so we try
The
and carry it.
backbone of America,
Yeah,
entrepreneurship, small business.
it really is. It really is. And it creates that flexibility that sometimes is needed. But I think more importantly, and I know even for me, I kind of underestimated, right, the size of some of these DOBEs. But in some instances, they're multi-million-dollar companies, right? That have
Absolutely.
walked
Yeah.
through the certification process, but come to us in an environment where they're looking for opportunities. So we do what we can to build those networking opportunities. I know our fall conference last year, we brought together a lot of our DOBEs and our employers, right, our supplier engagement folks to explore whether there's a fit. And it's not always, right? There's not always a fit. But what there is opportunities to be mentored, right? And to talk to others about how I can grow my business. How do I engage with my customers in a more meaningful way? All of those nuances, I think that entrepreneurs need partners to kind of walk with them through that. So we're looking forward to continuing the work here and supporting our small businesses.
Yes. And one of the things that I look at is being an entrepreneur is challenging enough. To then do it with a disability adds a whole other layer of complexity there. Can you talk just a little bit about that? Because to
Yeah,
say like, oh, the accommodations, that it sounds good, but really there's so much to it.
Yeah, there really is. And you know what? I think that's where the value of community comes in to play, right? Which is what we do beautifully is we network people, right? That's who we are. And when you think about our mission as Disability in North Carolina, we are a business to business network. Well, those businesses include our DOBEs and include smaller businesses. So to your point, I think it is an opportunity for us to listen and learn from each other. So creating an environment where, you're not alone as you create and create your business and your vision for that business, walking up alongside others that have been down that road, is really powerful. And so we create opportunities for that networking.
All right. So as we begin to conclude here, Beth, tell us where this is all going. What are the trends? What do you see happening in the coming years? The opportunities for people with disabilities, because right now across America, every sector, every industry, disabled, not disabled, doesn't matter. There's so much change. There's so much market disruption, if you will. Like, where do you see it going? When do we get back to the new business normal?
Hey, you know what? And we are, right. We are in times right now. People are losing their jobs, right, or trying to find another opportunity. At the same time, I remind those of us, right, that are out there that have disabilities, whether you're an entrepreneur, you're a current employee, um, we have one thing in our favor, and that is resilience, right? We know what it's like to walk through hard times, difficult times, unexpected circumstances. And so I am constantly reminding my board and those that I work with that, you know what, the ADA is not going anywhere, right? We've got to pick ourselves up, dust ourselves off, and get to work, and whatever that is. So I say this to especially some students too that I've mentored in the past. And honestly to my son, right, recently, who graduated. There's a bunch of opportunities out there, and sometimes it's not what we think. It's not what we expected, but putting yourself out there in the path of the next opportunity that is out there for you is so key. So not sitting back and waiting for something to happen, but going after it. And
That's right. Half of it is showing up.
yeah, I mean, I think I shared with you the short story. I mean, when I graduated from law school, I had passed the bar exam, and I didn't have employment, right? And I was not well networked in the legal field and industry in Alabama where I was, and instead I went and got a job as a cosmetics counter manager and was selling cosmetics, right? As a legally blind person, which is hysterical in and of itself. However, I did well, and it was in the context of that position that I met one of my customers who had her husband was a manager or partner in a law firm. And I brought my resume because I'm old. Back in the day, we had resumes, and you hand your resume to somebody, and she took that resume, and it's that action and that job that opened the door for my first legal position, right? So never would I have crafted that path for me. But my point is, we've got to find out what our passion is and get out there and expose yourself to people that are networked and can help you in getting that next step in your career. And so
I think that's right, Beth. I think that's good advice, because as much as we believe in the meritocracy, these are people, and you've got to interact with people and make connections and all that. So both are true at the same time.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Well, Beth, thank you very much for what you do down there for disability-owned business enterprises and throughout the community. It's great having you. And any concluding things as we wrap up?
No, I thank you for what you're doing to, again, just kind of lift the work that we are all about here, not just in North Carolina, but I know all over. So appreciate the work that you do. We do have our Wellness at Work event coming up on May 14th. It's actually a virtual event. And actually, it is May 19th. But registration will open soon for that. But we're going to talk about how we navigate chronic conditions and mental health at the same time. So I've got an awesome panel roundtable discussion, and invite all your viewers to check us out. And you can register.
All right, great. And listeners, be sure to get us the link. We'll put it in the description.
Fantastic.
All right, Beth, great having you. Thanks for what you're doing. Appreciate you. And thanks everybody else for listening and subscribing and liking and viewing and all of that. It really does help us keep great content flowing. It's David D'Arcangelo, another episode of Say Visibility, and I hope you have a great day.
For more information about disability employment issues, please visit our website, disabilityemploymentsolutions.com. The Save As Ability podcast is available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our YouTube channel at Disability Policy Expert, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment. Save As Ability lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #TheNewRadio. Again, my name is David D'Arcangelo, and I'm your disability policy expert. Until next time, thank you. I hope you have a great day.